upcycling old thrift store toys that are pretty good for nothing and turning them into something really special. Hello everyone, I'm Caroline, and today, Christmas in July again, and I got all my goodies out. I'm going to be making some Christmas craft. The craft I'm doing today is from two toys I picked up at completely different times. The one I've had for a while, the other I only bought yesterday, and I've turned them into something that I think is superb. Well, you'll need to know how I made it, so no time for chatting. Let's get on with crafting. What can I do with this horse that's had a very close shave? I got it for 50p in the charity shop. Poor thing has seen better days. But I think better days are coming. I was hoping to save the finish on this horse, but it's not going to work, so I'm going to take his saddle off. Oh, the saddle's glued on as well. Oh dear. This is going to be a much bigger job than I imagined. Right, I think we got a change of plan already. That saddle is not coming off. I can hear some clicking, so I really don't want to crack the horse. So we shall leave the saddle on, and now I'm going to paint him with some spray paint, and then I'll get back to you. Painting the horse and the saddle could be a challenge. You'll see how I get on very quickly because I'm not going to bore you with it. I'll pop and do it and bring the horse back. I got up this morning to see how my horse was drying, and it is so cold. I've had to stick an extra fleece on because it is July and I'm cold in Wales. The weather has turned, but never mind, I've got crafting to keep me busy. I was trying to decide what to do about the mane on the back of the horse. So I thought, well, I'll leave the tail in place and just cover it when I'm spraying it in case I decide to keep it. Well, I'm not going to. I've now decided it's going, so out with my scalpel. The horse has been fully anaesthetised, so he's fine, he won't feel a thing. Although I will if I slip. And I'll keep that in case I ever need it in the future, and I'll leave it wrapped up. Otherwise it's all just going to explode and I'll have bits everywhere. Now I'm just going to completely coat the horse and the saddle with white. I'm not sure what the eventual look on the saddle is going to be yet. I'm going to leave that as a work in progress and see how it develops. But he definitely needs a coat of white paint because I want him to look like the Christmas snow. So here we go with some white chalk paint. And because I've sprayed this with an undercoat, this should stick extremely well, which is the plan. Oh yes. This is going to be a fun job. No frustration here. The paint is just rolling on and in one coat covering absolutely everything.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down.
So here is horse now. He's all painted up. I put some black in his eyes. You can see I missed a bit under his chin. So I'm going to top that up later. I'm not going to do it now because I want to get on with the craft. And he's baldy. And that needs addressing, doesn't it? I took his tail off because I didn't like that being the other colour. And so we're going to go for a complete redo of his hair, his mane. I've got this. I got no idea what this is supposed to be. I can see it could be a hair piece there, but what do you do with this bit? Right. That's where it comes of buying a cheap comb. Use the end bit. I'm going to take a section of this hair and turn it into the tail. So I want to plait it or braid it. If you don't know how to plait or braid, it's really simple. Divide whatever it is you're braiding into 3 equal sections. I think that's probably the most fiddly bit. It doesn't matter if it's not absolutely perfect, but go as near as you can. This hair is very unruly. And then you bring the outside strip to the middle. Then you bring the outside strip from the other side to the middle. And then you carry on doing that. This outside strip to the middle. This outside strip to the middle. And work your way down. This is very difficult because this hair is much longer than I need it to be and it's getting in the way. I'm going to tie that off with a bit of twine that I have handy. It's better if you can use an elastic band, but I don't have any small enough and I'll end up going around 50,000 times, which is going to be a little bit time consuming. Like that. And then I'm going to tie the top the same. Get it as tight as you can. I've had to retighten this because the hair is so slimy, slippy, slidey, whatever you want to call it. I can't get it to hold with the twine, so I'm giving it a little bit of a twist with a bit of pipe cleaner. You can see just how easy that slips off. Now I'm going to use this to trim because I can't cut it very well with my other scissors. This is so stiff. It's not like real hair. Out with the finger protectors, out with the hot glue, and I'm going to glue this to within an inch of its life. I'm going to shove loads and loads of glue in because I don't want that all falling apart. I'm going to snip my pipe cleaner off a little bit now. I'm going to leave this on because I am going to be adding a bow on the tail, so it'll hide that. If you don't want to add a bow, I'm not quite sure if that is strong enough with just the glue. But, if you do ever try this, let me know. Would that be strong enough with just the glue? Now I'm going to glue it in place on the back of my horse. Oh yes, look at that. Now take the bottom bits off the pipe cleaner. And then, I've got to try cutting this now. Could be a while. I'm going to leave this tail virtually on the floor, but not quite, because I want it to look sumptuous. I think a lovely sumptuous Christmas horse would be good. Now I'm going to make the horse's mane. Having learnt my lesson last time, I'm going to start off by putting a pipe cleaner in place.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed.
Once you get the hang of plaiting, it is actually quite therapeutic. It's a bit less therapeutic because this hair is starting to get quite static now. And so it's very flyaway.
Singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before. As they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day.
The right length is there, so I'm going to tie it off with another pipe cleaner. I love pipe cleaners, they're so versatile. Who would have thought the person who invented pipe cleaners would never have imagined that in the 21st century people everywhere would be using them for crafts. No through the end of my wig. It's very stiff. I think I'll keep that. That's enough to do something with. I'm wandering off here, getting another pipe cleaner. Tie it up and put it away until I need blonde hair again. Make a giant sloppy paintbrush with that. That would be fun. Right, now I'm going to cut this fairly near the top. I want this to have a good length on the other end. You'll see why in a minute. And now when I glue this to the top of my horse, I've got a bit of a fringe. It doesn't want to stay down at the moment. Just had an idea. I'm going to get some hot glue, pop it there, and then I've cut a little notch in this top piece of fabric so it'll go around in a corner, and oh yes, oh that much better. Looks a lot less like a unicorn now. Not that there's anything wrong with unicorns, I just wasn't hoping for the unicorn look. What about that for a fringe? Now I'm going to attach this. Now don't worry that it looks a bit scruffy, because this is all going to be hidden with some decorations. I'll cut this at an angle so it doesn't stick out so much. Oh, I'm going to have bits of nylon hair everywhere for days, possibly longer. Pop that on there. Pop the hair on, or the mane, and then glue it all the way down.
Stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before as they walk from house to house.
And I've finally finished with all the hair. This blue, I'm not sure what it is. It's come through the undercoat and through the chalk paint. Oh well, we'll make sure that's hidden. So now the next important thing is to put something on the top of my horse's head here. Let's lie him down and you can see him better. Or her. Not sure if it's a he or a her. I've got this pick with these lovely little leaves with some glitter on. So I'm going to start by making a basic background for my little decoration on top of the horse's head. 1, to look pretty, and 2, to hide the ugly big tuft of hair. Look at that, it's like a Christmas floral crown. It'll look a lot better when you can see it from a distance. I don't even know if it's in focus, but look at that. Oh, I love that. But now we need to do something with the mane. You can't have all that going on there without anything going on the mane, because heavy horses have decorations down their manes. And I've got these. This was one pick, so I'm going to take these off. Don't think we'll need a lot. Try 5. I always like to work with an odd number. Little blob of glue. And I'm going to poke this into the hair. Just like that. And now we need to hide the tail as well. So, same sort of embellishments down here, and I think we'll be well on our way. Tail at the bottom. Cut some ribbon, and I'm going to glue this in place first around the horse's tail, covering that ugly pipe cleaner. I know I always put the join at the back, but this time I'm putting it at the front because the horse's tail may swish around a little bit and I don't want there to be any join visible, so I'm going to hide it under the bow. So pop that around, covered in hot glue, and then one of my favourite bows to do, because they're so quick and easy, 2-loop bow, tie it in a knot, trim the ends, and you've got a perfect little bow. And put that on. Oh yes, it's starting to look lovely. Now we need to get a bow around this little piece of pipe cleaner. If I thought, I should have put the piece of ribbon on first, shouldn't I? I think I'll glue some berries onto this first, and then glue a bow in there. Well, it doesn't sit as well as it could, does it? Right. Now for one of those crafters hide-it bodges. There we go. Nobody will ever know if you don't tell them. I'm sure you won't. I don't know if it's the weather. I got more hot glue than I ever get. Just hanging everywhere. Do you find that the weather affects the mess you make with hot glue, or is it just me? Right, so this is starting to really come together now. I've got these lovely jewels, so I'm going to put some of those along the strap of the saddle. I'm going to use this foam sheet, a glittered sheet, to make some reins to attach the horse to the sleigh. Or a harness, I suppose. I'm not going to make reins because this horse knows exactly where he's going. He doesn't need anyone to tell him. He knows his job. Cut pieces, the width of your ruler is the easiest width. You can cut them any width you like, but I like to go the width of my ruler and then cut them in half with the pinking shears. You can cut without the pinking shears if you want to. I just think it adds a little bit of something extra, a little bit of pizzazz. And well, who doesn't need a bit of pizzazz in their life? This will be for securing the actual sleigh too. So it's just going to be coming around the horse. And I'm going to go for this length, purely because I don't want to go hiding the detail on the saddle. And then glue on a little bit of harness around to the back. And I'm going to put the join at the back, I think. Because it's not going to go all the way around. So we might as well put the join where we want it to be, which will be under the tail. And round the other side. Sorry, Mr. Horse, I know this is rather personal. Over to there. Chop it off. Attach it on. And then we need some bells. You can't have a Christmas horse without bells. And I've got lots. Cut the hangers off and then glue them into place. If you've got bells, chances are they don't have hangers. You may need to add your own little bows. It all depends how the bells come. You can get them in so many different varieties and types. Oh yes. And now the other side too. I'm not going to be able to lie my horse down now, so sorry if it's a bit clattery, but I'm just going to get more bells and stick them on this side. And now to pick up on the saddle and to tie in the silver. I got this silver, this is metallic glitter polish. If you pop to the description below this video, there's an Amazon link there that takes you to my Amazon store with recommendations for all the things I use. I highlight this. You can use something like a little piece of foam or something like that. I like to do this by hand. One, I just love the tactile nature of it. And two, I feel I have more control. I can feel exactly where the paste is going. But it's all personal taste. And you can put as much or as little as you like on. You can really go to town on this if you want to. Well, you could even do the whole saddle silver if you wanted. But I like the idea of showing up the pattern on the saddle. I think that'll do. I think that's enough of a highlight. And so now it's time to get on with the sleigh. If you're enjoying this video, then please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And that way then you'll get to know whenever I put out any new content, including lots of Christmas ideas and other ideas right throughout the year. Right, back to crafting. While I was waiting for the paint to dry on my horse, I decided to pop to the charity shop or the thrift store, and there I found this for £1. Well, I thought this was perfect for what I want to make, so I decided I'm going to buy that and I'm going to use that instead of the little tow truck. So let's get on with this. And first thing I'm going to do is a little coat of undercoat so that it'll be so much faster to paint. I put a thin layer of undercoat onto this sleigh. I'm trying to figure out what's the minimum amount of undercoat you can actually put on something. I think it worked out very well with that one thin layer, but fortunately it did because I've run out of spray paint. Let's straighten you up, you're all wonky. There you go. So now we need to put some embellishments on this sleigh. And for this I've got beautiful pipe cleaners. They're actually 3 pipe cleaners rolled into one. They've made a nice stout pipe cleaner. The only thing is they're not long enough. It's a shame you couldn't get this on like a 2-meter roll. This is going to be glued onto the front here because this is a bit ugly. And also down here you can see there are joins that really have to be hidden. So I'm going to use pipe cleaner. Out with the hot glue and away we go, gluing the pipe cleaner all the way around this outside edge. Making sure it's a good width for the back. Make yourself a bow. I'm making a nice easy crossover bow like that. Fold in half so you know where the middle is. Scrunch it up. Pop a pipe cleaner on it. Dovetail your ends, which I always find easier if you fold and then snip. If you try cutting a V into it, it's very rarely even. If you do that, and it's the same both sides. Glue that into place on the back. Then I'm going to get some different ribbon and make a bow slightly smaller. Measure it to make sure you've got it right. And glue that over the top of the other bow. There we go, I think that will do fine. Right, I'm going to clean this mess up and then I'll get back to you. I've decided I'm going to use this last bit of pipe cleaner along the front here. I think it'll just finish it off. So now we need to put the attachments on that are going to attach this to the horse. And then add a pretty embellishment on the top to hide the fact that it's just glued on. Now I want to jazz this up a bit, but not too much because I'm going to fill it with things, and if it's got too much embellishment then it's going to look a bit too over the top. I know you don't hear that very often from me, dear. Well, let's open this packet of wreaths. I think I'm going to use these. These were in my haul video from last week. A little bit of hot glue, and on it goes. And the same on the other side. If you only have one of a certain embellishment you love, make sure you put that on the side that's most likely to be seen. Very rare you see both sides of a Christmas ornament or decoration, so put it on the side you'll see, and the side that's against the wall can actually have nothing on. It doesn't matter because nobody's going to see it. Now, it sounds bonkers, but I love this polar bear, so I think I might put him in. Well, I'll pick it up this way. There's no way I can decorate it lying down. We'll see what we can do. And I'm going to line the base with some tinsel. And that'll hide any places that are not completely covered. And then in with my tree. In with the polar bears. And I'm really loving the white, red and green colouring. And then just a few baubles, that sort of thing. See what I've got here. Some bells. And then a little bit of fun sticking up. And if you want to, you can fill this with Christmas looking toys. You could pack a lot of little boxes into parcel effect and you could put it full of parcels. I think that is absolutely gorgeous. You can't see the full effect side on, so now I'm going to show you the full effect side on when this is attached to the horse, because as you can see by my screen, there is no way it is big enough to show you that. Right, let's see what this looks like in all its glory, and I absolutely love it. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed making that decoration, and I think it looks so much better than it did when it started. And it's a great excuse to find all bits and pieces of embellishments and use them for something. So always good to use up some of your old things as well as buying in new things. There are plenty more videos coming, including Christmas, so don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. But until then, don't forget, happy crafting and have fun. Bye!